If you're seriously considering buying yourself or your family e-bikes this year,
I say, hold up, wait a minute.
I don't say this all the time, but do not buy it until you see this video, because the e-bike that I'm going to show you today is an absolute game changer. And I'm telling you, if you see this video after you already bought one, you're probably going to kick yourself in the butt. Now, I know I'm a power tool channel and I do tool reviews and all that good stuff. It's literally in the name, Tool Review Zone. However, today I'm bringing you an e-bike, and I brought you multiple e-bikes on this channel before. Some have been awesome. Some have been really not great. The thing that really got me started was the Ego mini bike, and I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely some limitations, but today I have one that I think is probably the best I've ever used, and I'm going to tell you why. But before I do, look at that face. I'm just saying, by the end of this video, if you're looking for an e-bike, this is going to blow your freaking mind, because this is so much more than just an e-bike to get you from point A to point B. We're looking at the Wallke H9 Ultra, and I do want to let you know that I'm not being paid for this video. They don't know anything that I'm talking about in this video, but they did send it over for a review, good or bad. And the reason I said yes to this compared to so many others that I just tell them I don't want to review is because the previous model that I checked out was awesome, and this looks even cooler. But if you are considering getting an e-bike, or specifically looking at the H9 Ultra, we're going to go over all the specs. We're going to talk about the insane battery that this comes with, and then we're also going to take it for a ride, and I'll show you what it can do on the trails. All right, as mentioned, this is the Wallke H9 Ultra, and spec-wise, this thing is built very differently than most e-bikes, starting with the motor. Now, you've got a 48-volt, 2,000-watt rear hub motor with peak output pushing close to 4,000 watts. So on paper, this thing has a lot of power, and you feel that especially when you're accelerating or climbing. This is a single motor e-bike, but what's weird about it is it feels like a dual motor e-bike. On the previous model, you can adjust the different settings. You can go front wheel, rear wheel, or both wheels, but there's so much power coming out of this bike, you don't notice the difference, and I'm fine with that. You only have the 3 speeds, slow, medium, and high. Don't worry, I'll show you all that later in the video. Now, I'll show you the speed and all that here in a bit, but I do want to talk about the main thing that this bike is really known for right now, and that is the battery. You're looking at a 48-volt, 55-amp-hour battery, which comes out about 2,640 watt-hours. Now, that's multiple times larger than a typical e-bike battery, and that isn't just a battery for riding. It's a battery that's designed basically to take off-grid. It's an off-grid power system, super easy to take out of the bike, and it can actually output power up to around 600 watts, so you can run external devices directly off the bike. So you're basically carrying around something that functions like a portable power station. Don't worry, we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but before I forget, I want to let you know also that you can fold this bike up. So there's a couple different levers. You don't have to worry about this thing opening up on you and then your handlebars folding down on you when you're riding it. There's a safety latch on there, so you can see that I just couldn't open it, but now I can fold that down. There's another view for you. You can see it folds down to the side. The seat's completely adjustable, and you can see there's a hinge over here, and on the other side you can see there's another latch. It's not going to open up unless I flip the switch and then open it. And now if I wanted to, I can fold this bike up and take it with me wherever I want it to go, or I can just store it and take up less space with it. And if you're looking to move this thing around, you definitely want to remove the battery, because you're looking up to around 100 pounds with this bike, depending on the configuration. So if you're moving around, picking it up, take it out first and then take it separately with you. Don't leave it in the bike, because it's going to add that considerable weight. Now, up front is an air suspension fork, and in the rear you got a shock as well, so it's designed to handle rough terrain or off-roading. The tires are 20 by 4-inch fat tires, which give you a lot of grip across different terrains, dirt, snow, whatever you're riding in. They also give you a few accessory type of deals that you can buy. It comes with the back seat, which I've never understood why these bikes come with back seat, because there's no like spokes to put your feet on, so you can't really ride anybody. But you can get the cooler or the pack or the basket or whatever you want to do to carry stuff around. You don't want to keep stuff in your pocket. So I really like that. But let's get back into the battery, because this is the coolest, most interesting part of the entire bike and why it sets it apart. Now, a lot of these bikes, first off, don't come with this size of a battery. I mean, this thing is huge. And what's cool about this is that usually what happens when you go on a bike ride, you go on trails, you go on a picnic, well, you're taking a battery on a bike that needs charged up, but then you're left with no power at all. This here, again, is a power plant. So you're going to have your USB-A and a USB-C port, so you can charge up your electronics such as laptops, phone, in case you're out for a little while. Now, what's cool about this is that most of these are added to the e-bike sometimes themselves, not the actual battery. So that's why this is so different. On this side here, you can actually charge this using solar panels. So if you do want to go off grid, or if you don't have a way to charge this with an outlet, you can take solar panels with you and extend your ride. You're going to flip this over on the other side. You got a few different things going here. You have a 110 outlet on the back over here, so you can plug things into it and actually use this battery to power whatever you want to power. And then over here, this is where you actually charge the battery. This is another huge upgrade. I'm so happy they did this. A lot of e-bikes come with specialized chargers, but not this one. They come with a standard plug-in cable that you can go to your local hardware store and buy. It just plugs right into the battery and you charge it up using your outlet. You don't have to worry about any charging bricks. You don't have to worry about any special chargers if they get broken, lost, stolen, whatever. You just plug this thing in and it's ready to go. So I'm so happy that they added this compared to so many of the other e-bikes out there. And then over here is your key. It's your on, your off, and then your battery unlock button. Basically, you have to turn it all the way to the right, and then it'll bring the pin in, and you can slide that battery out or slide it back into the bike. And I know you thought I missed this, but this is just the area where your bike plugs into the battery to provide it power. The other huge upgrade compared to so many other e-bikes is that they have a digital screen. I'm not really sure how well you're picking this up on camera, but this is going to tell you how fast it's charging, how much power you have left, what percentage you have left on the battery, instead of just guessing or only having a few bars on your digital screen. I mean, who would have guessed by adding a digital screen to an e-bike battery and giving you the information that you need to just by looking at it would make your life so much easier. I love that they did this. I'm happy that they did this. I'm glad that they did this. All right, one more view for your viewing pleasure. This is what it looks like. When it's plugged in, it's going to read a bunch of different numbers over here. And on top of that, they gave you a carrying handle, which makes it much easier taking this thing out and putting it back into the e-bike itself, where a lot of other batteries, you just have to worry about smashing your fingers. Plus, all of the plugs and electronics that I showed you on the side, they're all protected under these dust and water resistant protectors. So now that we have this fully charged, by the way, you can charge this while it's in the bike. You don't have to take it out. You just plug it in like that. That's it. And just so you know, you have to tilt the seat up and down to get that battery out. So if you're struggling trying to figure out how to do that, you have to tilt that seat. All right, a few other nerd stats that a lot of people might be interested in. So this is actually one of the most important parts of the bike. You're running 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes. So you got about 203 millimeter rotors, front and rear, which are pretty large for an e-bike. And they're also thicker than normal, around 2.7 millimeters. So they're built to handle more heat. With a bike this heavy going 30 plus miles per hour, and we'll talk about that here in a bit, you need real stopping power, and that's what the setup is trying to address. Compared to a cheaper e-bike that uses mechanical brakes or smaller rotors, this is a huge step up. You get more braking force, better modulation, and less fade when these things heat up. Oh, by the way, look at these freaking welds on this bike. These are like awesome. Now, looking at these type of bikes online and in pictures, they look small, but I can assure you they are not. I am 6 foot tall, 240-ish pounds. Oh, by the way, the kickstand, I don't like the kickstands in the back like this. I'm tall and I struggle reaching that kickstand. I'm just letting you know that if you're shorter, it's going to have some issue. I also like that it has a half twist throttle. I didn't think I was going to like that, but I actually like it better than a full twist. I don't know. I guess less chance of an accidental throttle. So I want to show you real quick. I have this thing charged in. It's charging just like I showed you before. 600, and it went up to 630 watts in. It's telling you time for a minute. It's like 15, 16 minutes for this thing to charge. So it also charges pretty freaking quick. All right, enough blah, blah, blah. I'll give you more specs throughout the ride, but let's actually go on a ride. Now, it's been rainy and nasty and cold here in Ohio like it always is, but look at that face. Anyway, we're going to go for a ride on the trail today, and we're in the Ohio Youngstown area. But what's really cool about this bike, number one, as I mentioned, the power. It's a single motor, but it feels like you have two motors running. And what's nice about that is you're also getting the power, but you don't have to worry about killing that battery much faster like you would if you had a dual motor. So I don't know. I really like it. Now, as far as it goes with speed, and I'll show you the speed comparisons. You got 3 different settings. The first one, second one, third one. The third is supposed to be like mid 30 up to 40 miles per hour. The highest I can get this was just over 35 miles per hour. Now that might not sound like a lot, but if you're on a bike, especially on a bike trail, which by the way, I don't go full throttle on these trails. If there's anybody around, I'm very careful. I only do it on straightaways if I know nobody's coming. But 35 miles per hour on a bicycle is fast. I don't care who you are. I'm just telling you, for me, it's quick. So we're just going to speed up a little bit. We're going to take it out on some sidewalks here, and then I'm going to show you the throttle. I'm going to show you the ramp up. Right here, so let me show you, there is a bridge. Now, this does not look like it's a very steep bridge, but it is pretty steep. If you take a regular bicycle with no motor, it takes some oomph to get up this. But you can see first gear, second gear, third gear, I have no issues going up, starting at the bottom and going up to the top of this bridge. And you can see that it is pretty steep. There's no loss of power, and I'm 240-ish pounds. This thing has crazy amounts of torque, crazy amounts of power for an e-bike. It's like a little mini electric motorcycle, basically. And then you come down, the brakes are smooth. I don't hear any squealing on those brakes. I don't hear any shaking or vibration on those brakes. They are smooth. And that is what I really loved about the previous model. Even though it's a step down from this version, it just runs great. It still runs great. And that's why I was excited to try this one here. And we're going to start out at the bottom here and go back up. And again, you see we have absolutely no issues. I'm in like first gear here, just heading up this hill. And then you go to second, no issue. Third, you're just blasting up that hill. But I want to be careful because I don't know who's coming up around. I don't know if there's a dog, a child, a mother and child. I don't want to run over the face. So there you go. All right, I'm going to go get a drink. And I want to point something out very quickly. I'm in Youngstown, Ohio, and the sidewalks are abysmal here in Youngstown, Ohio. They don't take care of anything. This place is just falling around. No matter how much tax money we put into the system, I don't know where it goes. I'm not going to get political, but it is a joke. The sidewalks are dirty. They're cruddy. They got holes. They got cracks. And usually when somebody sees somebody riding a bike in Youngstown, Ohio, we assume 3 things. 1, you're a crackhead. 2, you're homeless. Or 3, you're a homeless crackhead. It's not like other cities where a bike is like a normal mode of transportation around the city or trying to get to point A to point B. A lot of places with the beach or boardwalks or sidewalks, it's just a normal thing. Everybody riding bikes. But here in Youngstown, Ohio, doesn't matter how nice the bike is, people look at you like, oh, dude doesn't have a car. And this is why they don't care about the sidewalk. I mean, look at this. They don't care about the sidewalks. They don't care about anything. I'm not turning this into a rant video about Youngstown. I'm just letting you know that this bike is built for these sidewalks. Like there's holes, there's cracks, and I am comfortable riding on the Youngstown sidewalks because the suspension is good, the shocks are good, and I don't care if I look like a crackhead. I'm having fun. All right, we're going to go from speed 1 to speed 3. There's only 3 speeds on this bike, but I want to see how it does. Now, to be fair, we're on an incline here, but the world is not perfect around us. It's not perfectly flat. People want to know if they're going to be able to hit speed going uphill as well. So first speed, we're only going to be able to go up around 13 miles per hour, but I'm just going to gun it. All right, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.1 miles per hour. So it's fluctuating between 13 miles and 13.1, about 13.2 miles per hour. All right, now we're going to go on speed 2. Not really sure. Probably going to go up to around 20 miles per hour, 20 something maybe. But here we go. 3, 2, 1. So just to let you know, the wind was really irritating. You couldn't really hear it. The wind filter wasn't working on my mic, but I got it up to around 25 miles per hour on speed 2, or the second gear. Remember, there's the first that goes up to about 13, almost 14 miles per hour. The second one going to go up to around 25 miles per hour, and then the third one I'm going to show you right now. Now we're going to go to speed 3. Let's see where we're at. So 3, 2, 1. Once again, the wind sucked, but I was able to get this up top speed to 35 miles per hour. No, I'm not a human calculator, so kilometers, I'm not really sure. I don't know what to tell you. I struggle with the American system. But 35 miles per hour might not sound like it's that much, but on a bike, that's pretty freaking fast. I mean, it's good enough for me. I know there's bikes that go 60, 70, 80 freaking miles per hour. I don't want one of those bikes. I want a cruising bike that I can go long range with it on the bike trail without people yelling at me. And I haven't had any issues taking this out on the bike trail. Usually the people on the bike trail, they get irritated when they see e-bikes. Haven't had any issues. Matter of fact, I've had nothing but compliments. The one guy thought the bike ran between $40,000 to $50,000. I don't even know where that number came from, but it's not. The price is right here. And that's coming with a bunch of goodies. So you're going to get the side mirrors with this thing. You're going to get like a cooler and a couple other things with it. So they hook you up when you buy this bike at that price. I'll also try to attach this to the shopping bag if you want to check it out on this. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't think it was going to matter if I had the half throttle or not, but I really do like the half throttle. It's just a lot easier. Instead of having to twist your whole wrist, you just twist these two fingers. Right. Yeah, that would be your pointer and your thumb. Oh, by the way, I got a horn. Yeah, that's right. Now, in case you weren't aware, I live right next to every single major highway on the face of the planet. Well, at least in the United States. This is Interstate 80. This is the one that stretches across the country from coast to coast, and it is very noisy and very loud. You can hear it from my house. Now, if you're heading across the states and you end up by the Youngstown area, you see me on the trail, give me a little wave. But if you can't do that, maybe you can give me a smeesh, a like button on this video. That would also be real nice like. All right, let's go underneath Interstate 80. Is that you passing me by right now? I don't know. So it's very dark in here. It's dark, dingy, spooky. But I'll tell you what, it's nice and cool. Even though today is a cooler day and I don't like it being cold right now, when you come out on this trail in the summertime, well, it cools you down. You know what I'm gonna say. Real nice like. You just see people hanging out in here. Sometimes not the best of people. Oh look, there's a bunch of deer. See them? These deer always jump out in front of me. These pack of deer right here, always eating my trees. It's the same pack. They're infesting everything. I know people like deer, but when the deer eat your trees and your plants and your gardens and everything else, and then start eating your grass out of the yard, they're eating maple trees. I don't get it, but then they just jump out in front of you. I don't care for Bambi anymore. I used to like Bambi. Dude, Bambi jumped out in front of me and smashed my truck one day. Now I don't care for Bambi. But anyway, this trail here, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's pretty nice, but it's pretty boring. Not much going on with it. Now, if you go to like Florida, Alabama, the Gulf Shores, Texas, anywhere there's a beach, and you ride one of these bikes, man, it is just freaking amazing. And this one here gets so much mileage on it, and I'm like 240 right now, and it really does the job. It's so much fun to ride these. Now, one of the things that I definitely want to point out about this bike is that I feel very confident, very safe on this bike. When I rode a couple other e-bikes, they just felt chintzy and they were going to fall apart. And it just, I don't know, I didn't like them. This one right here, I really love the build quality on this bike. I think they just do such a really good job. And even in today's day and age with all the cameras and everybody shooting video, I still get people looking at me like I'm a psycho when I'm holding my cameras. But the smoothness of this bike, the ride of this bike, I am so happy. And the balance of it is really real nice like as well. It's quiet. Again, I don't hear any weird noises coming out of the motor hubs like we did on a previous video on a previous bike. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, it is a smooth ride. You feel confident if you're gonna hit the brakes, you're gonna stop. Now, as for speed, comparing this with the all-wheel drive Wallke, the all-wheel drive is like a Challenger, and this one here is basically like a Corvette. The all-wheel drive is gonna come off the line much faster than this bike. However, this bike will end up blowing by the previous all-wheel drive model that we did because it has more speed to it. The top speed, again, that I was able to get out of this bike was 35 miles per hour. Now, the range on this bike, well, that's what a lot of people want to know about, and that's sort of the hardest number to put together. Now, they claim between 80 and 150 miles of range on a single charge, but there's a lot of variables in this: how fast you're going, how much you're actually pedaling, how much you weigh. So with me, I'll tell you at the end how much I was able to get out of this bike, which was pretty impressive. But what I'll say is, if you want to get 150-mile range out of this bike, you're going to have to weigh a lot less than me, number one. Number two, you're going to have the back to your wind. You have to go downhill the whole way, and you're going to have to pedal your butt off to get 150 miles. That said, the 80 miles is pretty much in the ballpark. You're still going to have to pedal that, but if you're full throttle the entire way and you're not pedaling at all, you're going to get way less out of that battery than what you would if you're actually pedaling and assisting the bike. So 80 miles, yeah, I would say that's like top of the line for me riding this bike. But a lot of people, ask these questions, just like a lawnmower. It depends on how much you're going to get out of it when you're cutting the grass in the spring compared to the summer, where the grass is drier. It's not as thick, it's not as wet, it's not as moist. It just depends on how you use this bike and how you ride this bike.
I remember years ago, like in this area, the western Pennsylvania area, in the eastern Ohio area, trains would just run constantly in these areas. You can see the tracks over there and stuff, but no more. I've been on this bike trail a million times, and no trains. So the industry around here, not real nice. Like, still kind of cool though, with the river over here. No trains.
Now, the one question some people might ask is, will you actually get exercise on a bike like this? Yeah, heck yeah. On Speed 1, Speed 2, you're definitely going to get exercise. The bike will assist you going up hills. You're not going to kill yourself. It's going to make it a lot easier for you, but you can adjust those gears. On the right-hand side, you can see the gear adjuster, and you can bring it to a lower speed, higher speed, make it as easy or as hard as you want. So you definitely get exercise on this bike. So all the gear changing, all that, very, very smooth, easy to do. The other thing is the screen is actually pretty bright. So it's pretty sunny right now. Shocker, I know. But you can see how fast you're going. I've never had an issue with any of their digital screens on the Wallke bikes. Other bikes, I've had nightmare situations where I just can't read the screen. They shut off. They give you false information. But the screens on these bikes are legit. And again, it only goes from 1 to 3 speeds. So you can cruise around, conserve your battery. You can get miles and miles and miles of ride time out of this thing. Or you can go super fast and just get to point A to point B and use up a little bit more of the battery. So it's really on how you decide to ride this bike. Now, just like all the other e-bikes, yes, you can pedal your heart out like we were talking about, but there is like a 1 second delay. So it's not like as soon as you start pedaling, it's going to start gunning it and going full speed, which is fine. I'm okay with that because I wouldn't want that because of safety reasons. I want that delay. So very smooth, very easy to pedal. And again, I'm 6 foot tall. So if you're up to 6'3", you're going to be fine on this bike. I'm going to tell you, it is a bigger bike. So if you're down to like 5'3", this might be a little bit too big for you. I'm just being honest with you, but man, it is a smooth, awesome ride.
All right, just to let you know that we went from Austintown, Ohio to Niles, Ohio, which that's that and that on the map. You can see I still got full bars up on my battery right here. Now what's cool about this is that on the battery, which I showed you earlier, it's still reading 93%. So you actually see how much you have left instead of just relying on a couple bars up on the screen.
Now, I know I'm probably going to get a couple comments talking about how there's other bikes out there that go much faster, much further and stuff, but you have to remember that a lot of these bikes here are not built for like sport. They're not built for like, going 80 miles per hour. These are built for families to go on bike trails together. And with the power bank that comes with this, with the C port, USB, being able to charge it up with the solar power, And also being able to take this thing and being able to, like, I don't know, tailgate with the battery if you want. You take it to the campsite, you charge up your phones, you got the outlet over there, and not using like a specialized charging brick on this thing and being able to just plug it in. They did such a great job on this bike compared to the other bikes that I have reviewed. I love their previous version, but even though this is a single motor, it is, I love it. I love this bike. And like I said, I'm not being paid to tell you this. I don't even want to do these bike reviews, but if something comes over that's really good, I enjoy doing them, and I'll bring it to you. And I'll be honest with you, I turned down so many other bikes because I just don't want to deal with junk. These are fantastic bikes, and I could not be happier with you. And just to let you know, my neighbor and myself just went for a ride mid-edit on this, and I let him take the other bike, the other Wallke, the all-wheel drive, and he fell in love with it. So now he's going to go out and buy a couple because he just loved it. He never been on one before, and yeah, he just thought it was great. So if you're planning on buying one of these bikes, you want to check this thing out because they did a really good job. And for the price of it, what you get out of it, the battery and the engineering, the smoothness and the quality of the build, I'm just telling you, I can't be happier with this. So let me know what you think in the comments section below. Have you used one of these Wallkes? I know there's a million different brands out there, but I'm telling you, don't buy until you try, because this thing is just phenomenal. I can't say enough. So